The diner was packed with the usual morning crowd, construction workers, truck drivers, and a few retirees who sat in their corner booths sipping coffee and telling the same old war stories. The smell of bacon, hash browns, and burnt toast filled the air. That's when she walked in, wearing a faded military jacket, jeans that had clearly seen better days, and boots that had marched many miles. The woman didn't say a word. She headed straight to the counter, tucked the stray lock of hair behind her ear, and took a seat on the worn stool. Her sharp eyes scanned the diner. Every detail, every exit, she had a presence that made heads turn, not because she was beautiful, though she was in a rugged, haunted kind of way, but because she looked like someone who had seen things most never could imagine. The silence that followed her was almost sacred, like the hush before a storm. "Coffee?" asked the young waitress, visibly nervous. "Black," the woman replied without making eye contact. It wasn't long before whispers started floating around the diner. Someone had noticed a Navy SEAL Trident badge on her jacket. A man with a thick Southern accent muttered, "SEALs ain't women. She's a damn fake." 2. Local sheriff's deputies seated in the corner booth exchanged glances. One of them, Officer Dan Sullivan, shook his head. "Impersonating military personnel is a federal offense." Within 10 minutes, they approached her. Sullivan began, "We're going to need to ask you some questions. You're wearing a U.S. Navy SEAL insignia. Are you or were you a SEAL?" The woman turned slowly, locked eyes with him, and answered calmly, "Yes." The second officer laughed. "Right, lady. SEALs don't exist." She didn't flinch. Sullivan continued, "I'm going to need to see your military ID. I don't carry it anymore," she replied. "But you can check with Norfolk. Tell them to look up. Call sign Raven. Stand up. Hands behind your back. You're under arrest for impersonating a federal officer." The diner patrons gasped. Murmurs grew louder. They cuffed her and walked her out as she remained eerily calm, as if she'd been through worse. Much worse. At the county jail, the booking process was rough. The deputies mocked her. "You really think you can just slap on a jacket, walk around, pretending to be a SEAL, and people won't notice?" One sneered. She said nothing. Fingerprints were taken. Mugs. Shot snapped and the system scanned for identification. Nothing came up. No criminal record, no listed military service. She was, according to every database, a ghost. An hour later, the sheriff received a call from someone high up in Washington. That call went directly to the Pentagon. And that's how Admiral Thomas Kendrick ended up flying into the small town of Mayfield, Virginia. Admiral Kendrick had seen a lot in his 40 years of service. He had commanded fleets, led black ops missions, and buried too many soldiers. But this case was different. He landed at the county airstrip in an unmarked chopper, walked straight into the sheriff's office, and demanded to see the woman they had in custody. When the cell door creaked open, the woman was sitting on the cot, arms crossed, face unreadable. Kendrick stepped inside. The guard started to follow, but he raised a hand alone. Once they were alone, the Admiral stared at her. "Name? Call sign? Raven." His eyes narrowed. "You really are her." She looked up. "Took you long enough." The Admiral took a slow breath and then said the words that would shake the entire department. "That tattoo's real." He knelt, gently rolled up her sleeve, and revealed a hidden faded mark etched into her skin. The black dagger, a symbol known only among the most elite SEAL units, a mark never recorded, never officially acknowledged, used in only One mission, Operation Silent Storm-In, Raven had let it dash. 10 years ago, the U.S. government initiated an off-the-record, highly classified experiment, Project Echo, where women were selected, trained, and tested under seal. Protocols. Out of 42 candidates, only one passed the grueling program. Raven. She completed covert missions across war zones, extracted hostages, neutralized terrorist threats, and then she disappeared. The files were sealed. Name was erased. She became an operative, without a country until she decided to walk into a diner. You let them arrest. You, Admiral Kendrick said almost accusingly. I needed to be seen. She replied, they erased me. I need people to know the truth. I'm tired of hiding, tired of being a ghost. You broke protocol, he said, but there was no anger, just pain. She stood slowly and, yet you came because you knew I wasn't lying. He looked at her, this soldier, who had sacrificed everything, including her identity for her country, and felt a weight pressing down on his chest. They'll want you back, he said. I'm not going back, she answered. Not to war, not to black sites. I just want to live like a person. I did my part. Dash. Word spread fast. The sheriff's department tried to keep it quiet, but the press got wind of it. Rumors of a secret female SEAL swirled. Admiral Kendrick refused a comment, and the woman who had once been Raven vanished. Again, released without charges and without explanation. But her story didn't end there. Dash. 2 months later, a young Navy cadet stood at the Naval Academy podium about to graduate. She paused during her speech and said, there was a woman once, a myth, who walked so we could run. We were told she didn't exist, but I saw her. I met her, and I owe her everything. Across the auditorium, in the very back row, a woman with sharp eyes and a faded military jacket stood for a moment, then disappeared into the crowd. Dash. Conclusion. They thought she was a fraud. They mocked her, arrested her, humiliated her, until an admiral walked in and whispered the truth. That tattoo's real. She wasn't just real. She was the beginning of a legacy that no longer had to be hidden in the shadows. A forgotten hero who chose silence for the sake of her country, and when the time was right, let the world see just enough to inspire a new generation, not for fame, not for glory, but for truth. Because some warriors don't wear medals, they wear scars.